almost designed to constantly challenge your brain's ability to find a stable pattern.
Let's start right at the bottom, the rhythm and tempo. It opens at a very precise 165 BPM. That's fast.
Very fast.
Firmly in that high energy trap or drill zone. Punchy trap drums, crisp snares, deep 808s, the stuff we expect from modern hip hop. Sets a familiar stage, right? But rigid.
Right. But here's the immediate twist, the mutation point. Yeah. That rigid 165 BPM foundation is instantly and quite aggressively complicated by adding polyrhythmic 12-beat African percussion. And this isn't just, an extra drum loop. It's a clash of rhythmic philosophies. You've got the straightforward drive of the trap beat fighting against these complex, layered, interlocking cross rhythms from the African percussion simultaneously.
So instead of one clear groove, your brain is trying to process two distinct fast rhythmic patterns at the same time. That must create an immediate feeling of tension, like you said, being pulled two ways.
It creates that chaotic flow they're aiming for. You're hearing order and disorder coexisting.
Yeah.
Then, moving up to texture, layer 2 brings in this incredible breadth of melodic fusion. The melodic parts are just as diverse and conflicting. We're talking ethereal synthwave paths.
That's right.
Intertwined with, liquid G-funk keys.
Right.
And the abstract, often synthetic textures you get in art pop, all in the same space.
That's a truly global sound palette already. Decades, continents. But what really jumped out at me as a marker of this mutation idea was the atmospheric accents. Piano, okay, that's a standard anchor. But then it specifically mentions the bajo sexto.
The bajo sexto, yeah. That's crucial here. For anyone unfamiliar, it's a Mexican 12-string guitar, really central to norteño, regional Mexican music. Its inclusion is, it's unexpected. It's a very resonant, specific texture.
Yeah.
So when you mix the deep ring of that instrument with European synthwave, American G-funk, and African polyrhythms, you get this unprecedented level of global genre-defying friction. It's a deliberate collision designed purely to maximize the entropic soundscape.
And this complexity just keeps building in layers 3 and 4, the structure and the vocals. It just refuses to settle down. The verses are intense spoken word rap, right? Stripped back, just looming bass and haunting whispers. Very intimate, kind of tense.
But the structure is just relentlessly unpredictable. It mirrors chaos theory itself. Just when you settle into that dark intimacy, boom, the pre-chorus shifts completely. You go from spoken word to melancholic ambient synths, complex indie jazz harmonies, and surprise subtle layers of dubstep textures.
Dubstep, wow.
Yeah, the cognitive load on the listener is huge. Your brain is constantly forced to recalibrate what it expects. This rapid shifting between microgenres is their chaotic musical theory in practice.
But then, to kind of counter that complexity, the hooks have to be the emotional anchor, right? That's where the neo-gospel comes in strong.
Absolutely. The hooks are engineered for that big emotional release. They combine the power of a full gospel choir with energetic funk rhythms and this vibrant Latin brass interplay. It's the peak of the operatic side, a huge, if temporary, moment of structural and emotional clarity before it all breaks down again.
And the chaos peaks in the climax and outro. Describe that final fusion. It sounds intense.
According to the source, yeah. The Bardontix bridge apparently erupts into full-on improvised freestyle rap, woven with wild, syncopated Latin grooves, complex jazz Latin riffs, and raw kind of soul ad-libs. That's where the controlled improvisation really takes over.
Okay.
And the ultimate fusion moment is described as a powerful gospel orchestral and operatic fusion for the climax. Huge sound. But then instead of ending there, it kind of follows the second law of thermodynamics idea, energy dispersing. It drops into a soulful Afro house outro.
Afro house, after all that.
Yeah. Blending lo-fi textures like sonic decay with trance pulses, complex improvised guitar and keys, and then these booming boom-bap drums come back. It's a lot. But what's fascinating is that this immense, almost exhausting complexity is the experiment. This genre-bending, super textured, emotionally intense environment is the lab for analyzing disorder. The sonic friction is meant to mirror the entropic conditions they want to study in the mind and an AI.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, I think. Moving from the music itself to the physics and psychology behind it, this complexity isn't just showing off, it's the actual experimental setup. The track even includes this long-spoken narrative by sec-see-ness, which basically functions as a research abstract. It grounds the music in a proper scientific hypothesis.
Exactly, that's the connective tissue. The key theoretical link they're drawing is between musical improvisation, that spontaneous creation of patterns, and the second law of thermodynamics. Entropy.
Right, for anyone listening who maybe has...
Can you hear me now? Yeah, No, it's my research, pretty much. The Google Notebook. Yeah, so that's my my review from Google Notebook, right? LM, right? Is that the way you approach them is you approach them, well, the way I approach them is through a research aspect, right? Is when I present my documents, my data, my analysis and stuff like that, right? Present in which way they were able to process over a period of time the trend of what it is that I'm trying to present, right? So when they present my material, right, it's based on the document, data, analysis, and overall it's Google, bro. And then, what can I say, bro? It's Google. But at the same time, is that, you know, I like to not just talk the talk, walk the walk, you know, and pose a lot, which I do, right? But at the same time, is to show, demonstrate that nowadays in modern time, is that philosophy should not just be conceptual, privately talk in the community or privately talk community of the same topic, right? How do I know? Because I was in there. It's the same shit. What can I say, bro? They talk about the same shit. But at the same time, there's no application, right? It's talk about the same thing, about the same thing, of the same thing. Fate determinism. So what, right? In modern day, check me out. In modern day time, right, is that the digital trend, the technology, the elevation is no longer the way it was before, right? Therefore, in philosophy-wise, it's the same way, is that we have to elevate the mindset, not just conceptually, to elevate the mindset conceptually by evolving it into what's called a principle, right? A concept is only a concept, it's the concept to talk about. When they become a principle, that is to be applied, right? When it's to be applied, it's a principle, right? In order to elevate philosophy, classical philosophy, we have to apply with technology, because technology is what the greats in the past philosophers did not have. Imagine if Aristotle have technology today, bruh, homeboy will be up in Mars way before Elon is. I'm telling you right now, bro. You feel me? That's what I'm talking about, man. It's like we have to take advantage of technology in terms of philosophically wise, while applying scientific method, right? Scientific method, right? The standard scientific method of, right, questioning, curiosity, hypothesis, right? And then what theory, right? And then you apply, right? You experiment, procedure, protocol, a control, right? You gotta have a control, bro, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's that when you apply philosophical concept into scientific methodology, guess what happened? If you could tie those together, you get what I am doing right now, which is mutation, right? Bardontix, right? The fact is, within the last 300, 400, 5,000 years, right? I'm the only one who's ever modified Shakespeare and Poe and Mozart and Beethoven at the same time with Bruce Lee. You can't have the mind without the body to get the soul, bro. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. I'm sexy as hell, bro. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'll walk the walk, right? But I'm showing you guys what works for me. Why? Here's the concept, right? Why I use hammer, right? The weight is at the end, the tip. That means when you work out, right? Just like how, like I said before, like with Federer, right? With tennis player, right? You can incorporate that into your workout. And which you work your real delts, right? Right? If you play cricket, right? Same way, right? But at the same time, it's that when you incorporate something that's fun to you, right? To me, it's martial art. Bruce Lee, Jet Li, like you said, man, Mr. Benji, right? Bro, that's a cool icon. All right. It's that, you know, when you apply martial art, which is the mindset, right? Of what Bruce Lee used no limitation as limitation, right? When you apply martial art theory, concept, philosophies into what it is that you do, guess what happens? Is that one, is that you cannot have a strong mind without a strong body to be able to withstand the weight of the pressure, right? You need a strong body to be able to endure. You need a strong body for your mind to be able to keep up. Why? Because your mind can only go as far as your body can keep up, right? If your body is weak, your mind cannot keep up. Why? Because overload. Just like how a program is. If a program were to be overloaded, guess what happened? You better step on the storage, right? Or you better step on the GPU or something, right? But at the same time, is that that's the reason with AI technology as well, is that if it cannot computate because of what? Not because it's incapable, it's because it does not have the energy to be able to computate all those computations that they have to do, right? That's the fact of the matter is that the same way with technology being applied, it needs a source of energy, right? That source of energy is where it's coming from. For the human, the body, right? The body flow, right? The weight at the end allowed for a better flow of blood flow, right? Because one, it's at the tip. When it's at the tip, it's easier for the body to get a full spread of the blood flow to recover faster as well, right? Look, this is the masterclass for y'all, man. But at the same time, YouTube, ReTube, our tube. At the end of the day, I'm on my 11 minutes and 30 seconds. You're my #1 fan, Mr. Benji. Tala, the. Whoa, you a junior, bro? My bad. I didn't know you were a junior, bro. I thought you were a senior. But it's all right though, man. You're a 3191. Bye. Adios. Oh man, that's my top fall, man. He's a good guy.